Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 321 based on novel. So let's start. At this moment, Tajio opened his arms and the illusion of a crescent moon appeared behind him. Then, with one moon burial, the void treasures before the five elders collapsed. They were blown back and they coughed out blood. The flame giant formed by almost 100 vermilion bird divine sect disciples collapsed under the spell and the nearly 100 origin souls returned to their bodies. They all coughed out a large mouthful of blood. The All-Seer turned a blind eye to all of this as he stared at the tattoo-covered Tarshan and slowly said, "You have been hiding down there for a long time. I thought you weren't going to come out." Tarshan silently pondered. He had indeed been hiding down there for a long time. He didn't have to come out for this fight, after all, this had little to do with him. In truth, this was his intention. However, just now, when Wang Lin faced the moment of life and death, he let out a roar. His body seemed to lose control and he charged out. Tarshan, Wang Lin's expression looked haggard, but his eyes became even more sharp. At this moment, Tarshan was helping him stand, and blood was coming out from the corner of his mouth. Wang Lin took a deep breath and said, "Let go of me and go help Big Head." His hand clenched the sword sheath as he stared at the All-Seer with monstrous killing intent. He seemed to have reverted back to how he was when he was on planet Suzaku, a fiend with monstrous killing intent. "I, Wang Lin, am a heaven-defying cultivator. Even if I die, I'll die an indomitable spirit. There is nothing to fear in life, it is merely death." The sword sheath in Wang Lin's hand shattered into countless pieces, leaving only the rusty iron sword. Tarshan hesitated slightly before silently retreating. He looked at Wang Lin, and for a moment, luster returned to Wang Lin's eyes. Then Tarshan suddenly turned around and charged to where Big Head and Master Hollowwind were. Wang Lin had asked Tarshan to leave because he understood that with Tarshan's cultivation level, even with the Tattoo Clan Holy Ancestors' inheritance, he still wasn't strong enough to stop the All-Seer. Although Tarshan didn't look that injured from taking that blow, Wang Lin knew that Tarshan wouldn't be able to withstand a second blow. Holding the iron sword, Wang Lin took a deep breath. He looked at the All-Seer and revealed a hint of bitterness. "Let me call you teacher once more. Without you, I don't know where I would be. Maybe I would have still left planet Suzaku, maybe I would have chosen a remote place to go into seclusion. This is my struggle for survival. If I die, teacher, please bury me back on planet Suzaku. Even if I can't re-enter the reincarnation cycle, let me be buried in my homeland. Situ and the others don't have anything to do with you. If I die, I hope teacher can let them go." The All-Seer's expression was calm as he looked at Wang Lin. After pondering a bit, he nodded. Wang Lin laughed loudly, and this laugh was filled with arrogance. His body was in pain and his origin soul was fragmenting, but his hands didn't tremble. He held the iron sword and slowly lifted it. "All-Seer." As Wang Lin shouted, he swung his right hand and all the origin energy in his body entered the iron sword. The sword released a harsh sword hymn and the illusion of a giant sword appeared in the air and swept toward the All-Seer. 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes. The All-Seer didn't move and just calmly looked at Wang Lin, calmly looked at the sword strikes connecting one after the other. 7 strikes, 8 strikes, 9 strikes. Before one swing dissipated, another swing came. The sword strikes surrounded the All-Seer and replaced all other light. 10 strikes, 11 strikes. Until the 19th strike, where Wang Lin coughed out blood and his crimson-red armor dimmed. 20 strikes, 21 strikes. 23 strikes. When Wang Lin reached his limit, the armor around him dissipated into fire origin energy and entered the iron sword. 24th strike. Popping sounds came from Wang Lin's body and 2 streams of blood flowed from his eyes. His expression became even more ferocious as he lifted the iron sword once more. The sword lights around the All-Seer whistled, and in the blink of an eye, the 25th strike formed. The moment the 25th strike appeared, blood sprayed out of Wang Lin's chest and his wound opened. His body trembled, but a powerful will prevented his body from falling. With a miserable smile, Wang Lin lifted the iron sword once more. The 26th strike appeared and swept by the All-Seer. At this moment, the All-Seer was moved. He stared at Wang Lin and pondered. What you're doing is useless. With my first Heaven's Blight cultivation, you need at least 30 blows with that pseudo-Nirvana void treasure to stop me from advancing. Is that so? Wang Lin's vision was still a blur, but his right hand didn't stop and waved again. The sword light around the All-Seer whistled and the 27th strike appeared. Blood came out of Wang Lin's orifices, but he let out a roar and threw the iron sword at the All-Seer. It turned into the 28th and 29th strikes. The All-Seer shook his head, but at this moment, Wang Lin's origin soul began to collapse on a large scale. Although it hadn't dissipated, he became even weaker. However, he was able to exchange it for even more origin energy. The iron sword erupted with even stronger light. As it circled the All-Seer, the 30th strike appeared. This didn't stop. After the 30th strike, the 31st and 32nd strikes appeared as quick as lightning. 33 strikes. Wang Lin let out a startling roar, and large amounts of blood gushed out from his body, forming the last strike, the 33rd strike. These 33 strikes circled the All-Seer, and with one final point from Wang Lin, they released a sword energy that could pierce the demon spirit land. It contained monstrous power and killing intent as it charged at the All-Seer. The rust from the iron sword fused with the sword light. Rumble, rumble, rumble. An impact that shook the heavens appeared around the All-Seer. At this moment, everyone stopped their battles and looked over at this unimaginable impact. Even ancient devil Ta Jio revealed a strange gaze as he looked over. Master, Ta Shan clenched his fist and his body trembled. Master! Big Head's origin soul stared straight ahead. He felt an indescribable pain fill his origin soul. Little Lin. Sichu Nan was battling the All-Seer's avatar and was covered in blood. At this moment, he stared at where Wang Lin was with bloodshot eyes. A sword storm appeared where Wang Lin and the All-Seer were, and this storm connected to the heavens. The entire demon spirit land trembled violently, the earth collapsed, and the sky changed colors. As thunderous rumbles echoed, the entire sky was torn open, revealing the endless space outside. When the sword storm swept by, the demon spirit land collapsed. As the sky collapsed, endless origin energy rushed in. This fierce impact caused a huge shockwave. After the impact dissipated, the All-Seer calmly stood there. In his hand he held a trident that gave off an ancient aura. However, most of his clothes fragmented when the wind blew by. Even a large amount of his hair fragmented and disappeared. Wang Lin's body contained a trace of unwillingness as he slowly fell backward. His body fell from the towering pillar and plummeted toward the collapsing earth. I'm about to visit my mom and dad. As Wang Lin's body fell, his confused eye looked at the torn sky. He could faintly see his father and mother waving at him. They revealed smiles of kindness that he hadn't seen in over 1,000 years. These smiles only existed deep within heart. It was his most precious and cherished memory. Perhaps this is for the best, Wang Lin smiled, and in his eyes, Li Muwen and Wang Ping appeared behind his parents. You guys were waiting for me. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with confusion. He muttered to himself while he fell. It's just Sichu. Ju Yi. I was unable to fulfill my promise. I'm sorry. Wang Lin closed his eyes, and the moment he closed them, two figures appeared in the sky above the demon spirit land. These two figures were a male and female. The man was the old man from the brilliant void realm and the woman was Mu Bingmai. Mu Bingmai's absolute beauty and endless coldness collapsed the moment she saw Wang Lin's body fall from the pillar. An unknown complex feeling appeared in her mind. At this moment, she lost control of her body and she took a step and shot toward Wang Lin. The old man beside her frowned and let out a sigh. He didn't stop her but looked at everyone in the demon spirit land. Mu Bingmai was like a fluttering butterfly as she arrived next to Wang Lin and held him. Looking at the man so close to her, the complex feelings in her heart couldn't be diluted at all. To be exact, this was the first time she had faced him. Letting out a sigh, Mu Bingmai waved her jade-like hand and a crack appeared before her. A jade bottle containing only one pill flew out. This bottle was made from the best celestial jade and contained numerous restrictions on it to preserve the effect of the medicine. Since the bottle was like this, there was no need to talk about the only pill inside. Mu Bingmai took out the pill and placed it next to Wang Lin's mouth without hesitation. This pill didn't need to be devoured. The moment it touched his lips, it turned into 2 strands of milky white gas and entered his nostrils. No one in this world can kill you before I do. Mu Bingmai raised her beautiful hand that could cause any cultivator's heart to tremble. She looked at the All-Seer, and her eyes revealed a cold gaze. Brilliant Void Saintess. The All-Seer's expression immediately became serious. He quickly retreated a few steps while holding the trident, but then his gaze quickly moved toward the old man in the air. Lu Yundao. The All-Seer frowned and said, "Could it be that your brilliant Void Realm wants to get involved as well?" The old man looked at the All-Seer and then at the gloomy-looking ancient devil Ta Jiao. When he looked at ancient devil Ta Jiao, there was a hint of remembrance in his gaze. This old man's target is him. The old man let out a sigh and walked toward Ta Jiao. The ancient devil's eyes were filled with devilish flames as he stared at the old man, and they became serious. His right hand grabbed the blade and swung forward as he gloomily said, "It's you. It turns out you didn't die. I should have already died, but Brother Qing Lin saved me. Although our feud was deep, since he saved me once, I owe him. I'll repay that debt with you." As the old man spoke, he walked toward the ancient devil. His expression was calm, as if the ancient devil wasn't worthy of his attention. Ta Jiao let out a roar and a monstrous black mist came from his body. The mist turned into a devilish shadow, and it opened its mouth to try to devour the old man. In the blink of an eye, the ancient devil and the old man were shrouded in a cloud of black mist. The ancient devil's roar came out and thunderous rumble echoed. Mu Bingmai put down Wang Lin and shot straight toward the All-Seer. The All-Seer frowned as he retreated and calmly said, "Brilliant Void Saintess, I don't want to make an enemy out of your brilliant Void Realm. This Wang Lin has no relationship with you. No one can stop me from killing him. You're not qualified to kill him." Mu Bingmai shook her head as she flew into the air. With a wave of her right hand, illusions appeared. They unexpectedly all looked exactly the same as Mu Bingmai. However, there were only 8 of them. Spirit locked the soul, refine the heavens for energy. Mu Bingmai's voice was calm, and the moment she finished speaking, the 8 avatars immediately formed seals with their hands. A powerful surge of origin energy gathered. It formed a pillar of origin energy that suddenly came crashing down. The All-Seer's eyes revealed a strange light and he muttered something. The origin energy pillar that descended from the sky began trembling. Mu Bingmai shook her head and softly said, "Your heavenly fate spell is useless against me." As she spoke, her right hand reached at the void and endless origin energy gathered to form a bamboo slip. The moment the bamboo slip opened, a 7-colored light was released. Numerous runes flew out and surrounded Mu Bingmai's body. Although I'm only at the first heaven's blight, none of the origin energy inside the brilliant void can escape my control. If I don't want you to have any origin energy, you can't take even a speck. Mu Bingmai's jade-like hand pointed at the runes around her. The runes suddenly scattered and disappeared within the world. At this instant, all of the origin energy in the entire world changed greatly and gathered toward the origin energy pillar. Mu Bingmai stared at the All-Seer and said, "Seal all of the All-Seer's external origin energy." Although her voice was calm, it contained an unquestionable tone. At this instant, all of the origin energy around the All-Seer separated from him as if it were rejecting him. It dissipated fast and was exhausted in an instant. Only the origin energy inside the All-Seer that was refined wasn't affected. However, this inconceivable spell was far beyond anyone's imagination. Even the All-Seer's expression became gloomy. "I have long heard that within the brilliant void realm, the brilliant Void Saintess has a powerful spell. The title of brilliant Void Saintess has been passed down for generations since ancient time. Even when Celestials still existed, her identity was a match for the Celestial Palace. There were 4 celestial realms, and each one had a star system below them. Rumor has it that there is one person in each star system that has an inheritance from the ancient celestial realm. Each of the 4 star system saintesses control different powers. When I entered the brilliant void realm to cultivate, I heard many rumors about the brilliant void saintess. Today I see that those rumors are true. Mu Bingmai didn't speak as she pointed at the origin energy pillar. The pillar rapidly shrank until it was a glittering short sword made of light. Holding the short sword, Mu Bingmai raised her head and moved like a butterfly toward the All-Seer. Even until now, she didn't look at Wang Lin a second time. The complex feelings in her heart made it so she didn't know how to face this familiar stranger. No one could understand her mind, because even she was still confused. She only knew that she couldn't stand watching Wang Lin die. She couldn't remain indifferent while others tried to kill Wang Lin. There was an even more complex feeling that made her heart very painful. Due to this feeling, she wouldn't allow anyone to kill Wang Lin. This thought had lingered in her heart for a very long time and filled her heart. Many times, she would be awakened from her cultivation due to shock late at night. She would stand alone on the highest mountain of the brilliant void realm and look at the endless void. That painful feeling would make her feel like her heart was bleeding. That idea would make her almost lose control. She had gone through countless years feeling like this. Today, when she saw Wang Lin, the complex feeling and pain brewing in her heart filled her mind. She didn't dare to lower her head to look at Wang Lin, who might still be unconscious. She didn't dare. She only held the short sword and charged at the All-Seer with that complex feeling. It felt like that was the only thing that could calm her heart. The All-Seer's expression was gloomy. Although he knew a lot about the brilliant Void Saintess, he didn't think she would be able to seal the world's origin energy. This meant that his heavenly fate spells had no effect on her. The heavenly fate spells were a way of communicating with the world. This communication allowed him to obtain an intangible law to use. He let out a cold snort as he swung his trident. 3 rays of light shot at Mu Bingmai. As rumbles echoed, Wang Lin opened his eyes on the ground. When he saw Mu Bingmai battling the All-Seer, his eyes revealed a very complex expression along with a trace of unerasable pain. He didn't think he would actually meet her so quickly, and at a time like this. Whenever Wang Lin thought of Liu Mai, the pain he felt was far more intense than any injury could cause. His heart hurt every time he thought about the bitterness in Wang Ping's body. While pondering, Wang Lin sat down in a lotus position and took a deep breath. He was out of spells, and it seemed he had nothing left to fight against fate with. I still have one more spell. Wang Lin looked at the endless space that had appeared when the sword storm broke the sky of the demon spirit land. The powerful origin energy coming from outside surrounded the demon spirit land. Although the Airshow light shield was broken in half, it didn't disappear. The life-saving blow of an 8-star ancient god is stored inside. Although I don't know its power, it can't be weak. As Wang Lin pondered, his right eye shined blue. The vague shadow of the Airshow light shield appeared. However, this Airshow light shield was split in half and was rapidly fusing with Wang Lin's eye. Even if hadn't fused, the 8-star ancient god spell stored inside could still be used. The requirement was that there was enough ancient god energy. Wang Lin had an idea of dealing with the problem of obtaining ancient god power before. That was to split his avatar and original body and allow his original body to settle down somewhere to gradually absorb ancient god power with the Airshow light shield. However, it would take too long. Originally, Wang Lin planned to do this after he left the demon spirit land. However, right now he had to find a shortcut. However, if it was a shortcut, it would come at a price. It was a price Wang Lin would have to pay. Wang Lin looked at Liu Mai battling with the All-Seer. His eyes became firm and resolute. I don't need her to save me, and I don't want to owe her anything. While pondering, the 5 ancient god stars suddenly appeared between Wang Lin's eyebrows and rotated rapidly. A large amount of ancient god power emerged and entered the Airshow light shield in his right eye. As the ancient god power entered his right eye, the blue light from his right eye became so bright that it was blinding. The price of using his own ancient god power to fill the Airshow light shield was very costly for Wang Lin. Although his stars didn't shatter, using all of his ancient god power caused his fifth star to dim and look extremely bleak. However, as long as the ancient god star didn't shatter, it could be restored. However, the Azure light shield required too much ancient god power. As the light from Wang Lin's right eye shined brighter, more ancient god power entered his right eye and the fourth star also dimmed. The blue light from Wang Lin's right hand exploded and shrouded the area. Even Mu Bingmai and the All-Seer, who were battling, noticed this strange, blue light. The stars between his eyebrows rotated faster and faster. The third star dimmed, followed by the second star. Finally, the last remaining star also slowly faded. However, at this instant, the blue light from Wang Lin's right eye shot out like a sword into the sky. He looked at the 50-kilometer-wide pillar that had risen into the air due to the All-Seer's spell. The pillar immediately rumbled as it was unable to withstand Wang Lin's gaze and then collapsed. Just at this moment, the rays of light appeared within endless space. These rays of light were very fast and rushed through the torn sky into the demon spirit land. The person leading the way was a celestial filled with celestial spiritual energy. Behind him were many celestials that had also slaughtered their way here. A large amount of Alliance cultivators arrived and surrounded the area. For the Cultivation Alliance, whether it was the Four Divine Sect, the All-Seer, or Ancient Devil Tarjio, they were all enemies. Even these Celestials don't want Qinglin to awaken, they'd rather have the Ancient Devil occupy the body. However, the Ancient Devil was someone they had to kill. Qinglin's fame was enough to shock the remnant Celestials. Even the Celestial Lord who was leading the charge used to be very respectful before Qinglin. He didn't dare to have the slightest thought of rebelling. However, these Celestials had been worshipped for countless years due to the Cultivation Alliance, and none of them were willing to give up what they had and go back to the past. As a result, they didn't want Qinglin to awaken. The Ancient Devil had to die. Set formation. The moment they charged into the Demon Spirit Land, the former Celestial Lord let out a roar. The Alliance cultivators quickly formed seals. As endless origin energy filled the sky, 9 giant, shiny swords appeared. These 9 giant swords floated in the air and surrounded the 50-kilometer area. Dao refinement, countless Alliance cultivators shouted at the same time, and these words echoed like rumbling thunder. The formation activated, and at this instant, the 50-kilometer area was shrouded in endless sword light. The numerous Celestials rushed out and charged at the people below. Most of them were after the black mist the Ancient Devil and the Old Man were in. Another group went directly after the All-Seer. In an instant, everything fell into chaos. However, the moment of chaos, the monstrous blue light came from Wang Lin's right eye. The pillar the All-Seer had made began to collapse, and the blue light pierced through it. When the blue light pierced through, the pillar collapsed into a pile of rubble. A thick layer of dust was kicked up and everyone on the pillar dispersed. Wang Lin jumped into the air and charged at the All-Seer. The sudden appearance of the Cultivation Alliance and Wang Lin's spell caught the All-Seer's attention. His expression became extremely gloomy as he used the trident to knock away Mu Bingmai. He shouted, "Since you're looking for death, I'll grant your wish." Mu Bingmai hesitated for a moment, but then Wang Lin's cold voice echoed. "I don't need your help. As for the pill from before, I'll find ways to repay you several-fold. As for saving my life, I'll also repay it several-fold." Mu Bingmai's expression immediately became pale as she silently retreated. She bit her lower lip until it bled. She stared at Wang Lin and shouted, "I want to see him." Her voice was filled with sadness. This was her strongest desire in her heart. It had echoed in her mind for countless years, and she still felt very complex about it. He was someone no outsider could know or understand. However, Wang Lin's body trembled. How could he not know? He was Wang Ping. The mention of Wang Ping caused Wang Lin's heart to feel intense pain. If you didn't personally experience it, it would be impossible to understand. You're not qualified. Wang Lin's heart stung as he charged at the All-Seer. Mu Bingmai let out a miserable smile. She wanted to say something, but she couldn't utter a word. When the Celestials of the Cultivation Alliance closed in, Mu Bingmai stared at them with a cold gaze. The anger from the complex emotions in her heart was vented on the Celestials. She charged at the Celestials with the short sword in her hand. Ignoring her for now, Wang Lin flew directly at the All-Seer. The blue light from his right eye was like a sun that lit up the world. This made his body give off an indescribable sense of majesty. The All-Seer, holding the trident, had a feeling of fear. The blue light contained a spell he couldn't see through. This is All-Seer, our battle is now over. Wang Lin let out a roar as the blue light shined from his right eye and the Airshaw light shield appeared. The Airshaw light shield had already split in half, but at this moment, the halves fused together. Then it unexpectedly shattered into countless specks of light that surrounded the area. At this instant, the All-Seer's heart trembled and an unknown sense of danger filled his mind. This kind of danger was extremely rare for him, but it was so strong that it made him suck in a breath of cold air. He didn't hesitate to reach toward between his eyebrows' left hand, and he mercilessly ripped. The second seal between his eyebrows was half ripped open by him. Before he could finish tearing, a huge palm descended from the sky. The speed of the palm was beyond imagination. It formed into a fist and smashed into the All-Seer's body. The thunderous rumbles continued to echo and the earth shook violently. After the large fist, a pair of large fists landed on the ground with a thud. At the same time, an unimaginable change appeared in the space above the demon spirit land. The sky rumbled loudly and a huge vortex appeared and rotated rapidly. This vortex was very large and boundless. All of the planets within the area were included in the vortex. Various realistic scenes began to appear. There were many majestic buildings. These buildings were very simple, but they looked very ancient. This was a blood-red land with only these boundless buildings. It was like nothing but these buildings that supported the world existed. Just at this moment, a giant foot descended from the sky and landed on the ground. The moment the foot landed, the earth shattered and a thunderous rumble echoed. The foot landed on a building and caused it to immediately collapse into a pile of rubble. At the same time, an earth-shattering roar that echoed across the void could be heard. Within the very realistic scene inside the vortex, the owner of that foot was a huge giant. It was an ancient god. An 8-star ancient god. If that was it, it wouldn't be too shocking, but next to the 8-star ancient god, there were nearly 100 more giants of equal size. These almost 100 giants were all 8-star ancient gods. Further away stood an even larger figure. The 8-star ancient god simply couldn't compare to this figure. It was like compared to an elephant, but even this doesn't describe how large this figure was. Even further away, there was a monstrous surge of demonic energy, and ancient demons appeared from within the demonic energy. The endless demonic energy flooded across the world as their roars and shouts echoed. In another direction, there was heaven-shaking devilish energy, and ancient devils charged with crazed bloodthirst in their eyes. This was a large battle between the 3 ancient order clans. On the ground, there were countless chi refiner cultivators, but they were far more powerful than any cultivator today. They were grouped by families, and each one had various tattoos between their eyebrows. They began a crazed slaughter. This battlefield was simply too big. The vortex among the stars only displayed a corner of the battle. Everyone in the demon spirit land suddenly noticed that the demon spirit land disappeared. Everything before them had disappeared and they had appeared within the battlefield. The surrounding scene was terrifyingly realistic. However, there were obviously people who didn't believe it and thought it was all an illusion. Although shocked, a celestial from the Alliance looked at it with eyes filled with disdain. A shadow suddenly hovered over him and an ancient god's foot mercilessly stomped down. He didn't even dodge, and in the blink of an eye, the right foot came crashing down, causing the earth to tremble. When the foot lifted, the celestial was gone, leaving only a splat of blood and flesh. His origin soul had also collapsed. This scene caused everyone to suck in a breath of cold air. At this moment, a giant bird 10,000 feet large let out a ferocious hiss and flew over. A thunderous rumble echoed when the bird flew by, and its wings were like blades. It swept across the Alliance cultivators who formed the formation, and hundreds of them were split in half. Blood sprayed everywhere. Dream. Dream of ancient times. The ancient devil, the old man, and the celestials fighting suddenly stopped and stared dumbfoundedly at this. When ancient devil Tarjo saw all of this, fear appeared in his eyes. Primordial times. Could this be a primordial battlefield? The old man from the brilliant void realm gasped. This was the life-saving treasure that the 8-star ancient god had left in the Airshore light shield. The life-saving spell of an 8-star ancient god couldn't be simple. The dream of the ancient god, dream of ancient times. At this moment, the earth trembled even more violently. The nearly 100 ancient gods walked on the earth and began charging toward everyone. The ancient devil clan and the ancient demon clan also roared as they rushed over. It seemed the location everyone was at was the center of the battle. The impossible large figure that was behind the 100 ancient gods also raised its foot. This video will end here.